Okay, evening everybody. We'll start the meeting now. It's quite a heavy agenda tonight, so we want to try and move through it. Nice to see so many new faces tonight. So we'll start with apologies for absence. We're all here. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Right, declarations of interest? No. Minutes of the previous meeting held on the 9th of August. I'm assuming that any issues there have already been passed to Joe and that everything's okay now. Yep? Good, find that off later. Right, number 62, industrial units. We have an update from Stephen Sherry. Welcome, Stephen.
Explain why.
Well, effectively, if you don't do it in the right season, particularly things like water mining, you can't start that process again until the spring, so it does have quite a lot of delay to it. If I don't keep the project moving.
Once they start hibernating, isn't it?
Well, exactly. Unfortunately, the weather's quite warm, so that's quite helpful.
What's the deadline, Steve? Sorry.
It is a bit variable, but certainly by the end of September, I need to get them in.
Get them in, but.
Get the ecologist on site.
Oh, of course. And what's the deadline? How long time has he got to get it reported?
Oh, once he's been on site, I can get it reported. Doesn't matter, as long as he's been and looked around the site.
Thank you.
What happens after that, the ecology report? Is there a break then where we can sort of discuss what we're going to do next?
Yes.
So we really need to push on with that then.
Yeah. I'm quite happy to email them to Jo and she can circulate them if that's the easiest way forward.
What sort of costs do you, once we start doing that, we start racking up costs. What sort of costs has been accrued up to now, and then the next stage before the reports go in, what's any idea what sort of cost we're talking about?
Well, the budget figure I was working to was a total of 10,000, and that included the planning application fees. Parish pay half price, but it depends what surveys come up, what we need to do.
So at the moment, any idea what cost we've incurred so far?
It's less, it's about 2,500 at the moment.
Thank you.
So when does it go to the villagers, the parishioners, for everybody to see whether, you know, if this is what their way forward, whether or not people want to do this?
But that would be up to us. You know, we'll have to, if that's the way we want to go, we'll need to have an open meeting and allow people to come and listen, and we'll have to put cases for and against and work from there.
We don't put a leaflet or anything out to anybody?
How we do it will be up to us to decide.
It was a site that was allocated in the Torridge local plan.
But that was many, many, many years ago, wasn't it?
The local plan is due for a review next month.
Yes.
The jury's out on what form that will take. It's a joint plan between North Devon Council and Torridge District Council. Torridge have taken a position at the moment they want a full review of the local plan. North Devon want a partial review. So until they agree what sort of review it's going to be, nothing much is going to happen. It's not going to involve a lot more housing across the two authorities, simply because they had an appeal decision that came out on Monday, which said they've got a 5-year housing supply, only just, I think it's 5.02. But at least that gets them over the line for the foreseeable future.
Sorry, Steve, when you say an appeal decision, was that the one at Flemington?
Yes.
It was.
Yeah, that was quite a big appeal.
Yeah,
It's a public inquiry, so it's quite well challenged.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
Obviously, we're a fairly new council, half of us, and we've come into this sort of, you know, part way through. And my concern is that there are a lot of new parishioners, and I know this isn't your part of this, but we've already spent quite a lot of the parish money having surveys, etc. done. And my feeling is that this is quite an old, I mean, it was quoted to me that had been a public consultation, and having read through it, it's very hard to see the public consultation that was. And I think my personal view is before we spend more money on seeing if this land is going to be sold and units are going to be built on it, shouldn't it then go to a public consultation?
But to be honest with you, Hen, what you're saying here is not really a problem for Stephen,
No,
is
I know
it?
it's not.
This
No,
is
I
something
know,
we're
I'm
going
just
to
highlighting it
have to talk
people that are
about.
here. Yeah.
I mean, one of the questions I asked you last time was the concerns I hear are about if you put the land to industrial units, what's to stop them becoming houses in a couple of years' time? And you did say you could put a covenant on there, but
That can be
turned over, can't it?
Well, it can't be, because you would still retain the rest of the field, and the normal covenants can be challenged after 25 years, but where you own land that abuts it, it can't be challenged.
Right? And is there some paperwork on that we could see?
You'd have to take legal
Yeah, because that is a big concern.
Yeah.
That's what I hear is a big concern.
I've been involved in similar cases, and all the legal advice says it's at least 25 years.
Okay.
But in perpetuity, if you retain. And I have known landowners, even if they sell off the rest of the field, keep a 1 metre strip back just to
Ransom Street.
keep that
Yeah.
in perpetuity.
Just one other question, going on from the map, I saw it last time, the footpath that will go from the units if they go ahead to the road, abutting the existing allotments, who will own that footpath? Will that go with the industrial units?
Well,
Or will
again,
that...
it depends how you dispose of the site, whether you want to sell it, or whether you want on a 99-year lease. I mean, some parishes build out themselves and rent the units. It's quite a lot of capital cost to doing that, and an element of risk.
Mm.
But there are a number of ways forward.
Well, the reason I ask is because we're a growing community, and we've got all the allotments are full. We're starting to get waiting lists, and there's a possibility we may want to expand across that field and put more allotments. We haven't discussed it, but we may do. But if there's a path there that's owned by someone else, it would make it awkward.
In that case, you need to retain ownership.
We retain ownership.
Okay.
You retain ownership.
Does anyone would like to ask a question?
Parish Council.
So it came out of a survey that was done several years ago when the current local plan was being formulated, where they looked at not only housing growth but also potential for light industrial units.
I'm absolutely with Kat and several others. It should be moved out to the whole of Buckland Brewer.
There was a survey done by the parish council on the whole of parish council, and the plan was put to the survey, put to the parish, and there was a vote on that. And the industrial site was supported at the time. So that Torridge plan now is coming up for renewal. It cost us, the gentleman there, Jim, who was doing it when he was on the parish council at the time, it cost us a fair bit of money to do it at the time. So now it's going to come down to if the parish council feel that you want to do a resurvey, whether the majority of the village want little industrial units, which there is a demand for, make no doubt about it, there is a demand for it, then we'll have to put it out to the village on a survey, which is going to cost a fair bit of money.
The answer to your question about the ownership of the field, it's not owned by any of us as individuals. It's the council itself. So really, it's a parish field owned by the community, I guess. One way of looking at it, although managed by the parish council.
So can I ask, what sort of demand? Who's demanding units in the village?
If people have asked at the survey at the time, when they did it. When we did the survey 10 years ago, when I what it was, Mr. Lowe, if you'd like, you were there at the time.
I have no intention of joining this debate because I hadn't come here for this at all. There's been two surveys. There was a survey going back 2010 and 2006, overwhelmingly wanted small artisan industrial units. We did another survey in 2018. Again, the survey came out again for small industrial units. These units are 2-man, 2-people occupation. Nothing like what is on memory board. Just know everybody know what memory board is. How they do. There's quite a big industrial unit section here where the Jamaica Press is. Yeah, there are businesses in the village that have approached me, certainly when I was chair, can we have local industrial units? Because there are businesses being run out of kitchens and houses in this village, and they asked me if that's possible.
It's not really the time to discuss this now. So, I mean, thank you. Is that you done?
Yeah, one small point. Obviously, they either need to crack on quite quickly for the colleges. If things evolve and they want to do a survey, then I probably want to embellish the current plan to make it a bit more presentable for the public consumption.
I think we said we needed to push on with that at the last meeting, didn't we? To that point, if it needs to be done now. Are we all agreed? No.
Yeah. Can I just ask another question about the ecology survey? What happens if you find a rare grasp, or there's a newt up there, or there's something up there that's rare? Would that stop it?
No. I mean, dormice are one of the things that's a bit more of an issue, but they need to be relocated under licence from Natural England. You can only get a licence once you've got a planning permission, so it's a step-by-step process.
for these empty units down at Jamaica Press?
Yeah,
Yeah, there
there's
is.
two vacant ones down there.
Oh, there's Bideford. In Bideford,
So
there's
this
two.
is not the time to
Three in
discuss.
Bideford.
No, I think the
This is
que-
not-
At
if
Easter
we-
Water, there's quite a few.
if the question is at the moment is, do we crack on with these surveys, or do we have a discussion about this before we spend any more money? My feeling is that we stop it, we don't spend any more money
Yeah, I agree.
until
agree.
we've had a discussion and decided where we want to go.
on this agenda that says anything about decision making.
No,
No, absolutely not. But Mr. Sherry is asking
He's asking
whether
the
he should crack on with the surveys. I'm saying I don't think we should.
I thought we did at one of the previous meetings.
We did.
Mm.
Well, I could certainly ask the college to do a two-part process. One, he does a site visit, which is a couple of £100, maybe £200. And then before that requires time, if we need it, before he starts to prepare a formal report and his proposals for ecological offsetting, which will be part of a planning application. So I can do that a small step, and then that'll give time, if you wish to discuss it at your next meeting, that'll be fine.
Okay, we need to put that on the agenda then if you feel. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. 63, public participation. There's your chance.
Well, it seems to me like it's a done deal, this unit.
Sorry, there was 2 or 3 hands behind you, but go ahead.
Well, I can't see behind me. It seems to me like it's a done deal, this unit.
It's not.
We're going with this plan that's obsolete by now, because things have changed so much since 2008 and 2018, or whatever the dates were. Everything's changed. I'm not 100% sure that there are enough people in this area to warrant having units at the top of the... I don't know where your customer base is coming from for a start. I'm also concerned about the infrastructure, the road, etc. You know, we're having problems with the sewers because we've got new houses in the village. They're going to be linked into the sewers. There's so many issues that need to be looked at before a decision's made.
I appreciate your concerns, but as I said, tonight was just an update from Stephen Sherry. It wasn't an opportunity to discuss the future, and we will be talking amongst ourselves, and we will come to the public, I'm sure, because that's what people want. Yeah.
We can put it on the agenda.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and the choice will be there. It is a contentious issue. It is a contentious issue, and it will need to be discussed, and it will need to be voted on by ourselves. But we'll need to take the public view with it.
But there's people who want it as well.
Yeah, there's both.
So we can put it. We can
But I know a lot of people don't.
put it through a chair. Do we need to through a chair? Do we need to put it on the agenda for next month or a month after or what?
Have we got time to get enough enough advertising out there to get people along, tell them what we're doing?
Before we do anything else, I do need to share some information with the council after the meeting. I don't want to say it publicly at the moment, but I do need to share some information. Okay, so can we perhaps put it on the next agenda, or you decide whether it's on the next agenda, but you do need some pertinent information that I've just come across.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm struggling with hearing as well.
Can you use your microphones, please? That's the whole idea of them.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Pete?
Only very briefly, so I realise you want to move this on, but for me, a survey from 10 years ago is irrelevant. The populace of this village has changed massively in the short time that I've been here, let alone in that 10 years. And it's the job of the council to represent the people of the parish. There is only one way this can go. Forget what money has been spent. The populace of this parish has to be asked, with the facts, whichever way it goes, what do they want? That is the only way this can go.
I agree, and we are all here elected by the parish, and we're all here to represent the parish, and we would be wrong to make our own decisions without going to the parish.
Exactly. And I have my own personal decisions, which I'm not giving now, but my very strong feelings are that it
I would hope that none of us here have got our own agenda on this.
And the populace from 10 years ago is irrelevant.
So
Thank
we're
you.
going to be talking about having a referendum or something
Yes.
like that.
It might come to that. It's, you know, it's a...
What happens on a referendum?
I don't know about that, but, you know, when we had the pub issue, there was a lot of people came and spoke.
We've had referendums before, the district council organised them.
Sorry,
We've had referendums before, the district council will organise them.
well, it may need to be. It needs to be, and it needs to go on the agenda to discuss what we're going to do. But have no fear. We're not going to. It's not a done deal. Some people may think it is, but you know, it
sounds like it is.
well, not in my mind. I haven't got a personal view on it because I'm here to represent the people who voted me. I mean, I will listen to what's going on in the village and make my decision from that. It won't be what I want or what I don't want. I'm not going to say what I want.
Is what the majority want.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be.
Absolutely, and you should have no fear on that.
And we are, through the chair, we are going to put it on the agenda for
Yep.
next month.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Sorry.
May I take up a point on what Trevor's just said, that you've been approached by somebody for a unit. As part of what you present to the public, it would be a very good idea if you could actually seek out people who are interested in taking one of these units,
Yeah.
so that when you ask the public, they can see the demand is either there or it's not.
I agree. Another point, of course, here is that without the surveys that he talks about now, we don't know how many units, what size, and we can't really go to the public without knowing what we're actually going to look to do. So I say,
But you could see the interest, couldn't you, that's there, and present that to the public. If, I mean, people here saying they know that people have approached them, so maybe that sort of detail would be something that would help you all make a balanced
okay.
agreement.
Let's stop this tonight now anyway. When we have a meeting, hopefully you'll all come back here and have your say then, and there'll be others as well. Jim, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I did. Can I say, Chair, I have no intention of coming this evening until I saw item 71 on the agenda.
Sorry?
Item 71. And I thought, déjà vu.
Oh yeah, well, we'll talk about that. Actually, the lady who proposed that isn't here.
We actually tried this ourselves. And I can remember going up to Holloway Parish Council meeting in Thornhill Hedge and being harangued by Penny Mills from the CPRE. How dare you build a turbine in Buckland Brewer?
When we get to that item, I was going to ask our learned friend here on turbines to talk about that.
Anyway, things overtook us. And I think it's worth reflecting on the relationship Buckland Brewer has had with turbines. When I got on the parish council, too long ago now, Fishley's had just about to build their array. And Fishley's the array that you can see on the horizon. They are just in the parish. And we were really, really fed up because the parish got nothing out of it. It went off to some ecological organisation. And so we said, oh, we'll do one ourselves. Well, we're looking into it. And then events overtook us again. And we had two landowners locally then decided they wanted to build wind turbines. And the parish council at the time was in favour of wind turbines. At the same time, the Atlantic Array. Now, those who have not pretty moved here recently will have heard the Atlantic Array. And that was going to be built in Bideford Bay. And there was an almighty row about that. And all the parish councils around were asked whether they supported it. Buckland Brewer was the only parish council in all the Tories that actually supported the array, which actually they'd like to bring back now by the same thing. So then these two landowners decided that they would want to build these two turbines. And the two turbines I've got to mention are the ones you see as you look absolutely west of the village. The first one is in the parish, and the second one is in the park. And we supported the turbine that was built in the parish. We supported the landowner, and it's the only time I've ever been to a planning committee that they actually listened. And we actually got it through by one vote. So that turbine was built. We result in terms of what that meant to the village was considerable. The landowner in question then, and the same landowner on the other side, did exactly the same with the community. Parkham weren't interested, they were against wind turbines and opposed it, so it's out of trust. The landowner in Buckland decided the other way at the time that we were desperate for money in terms of finishing the building the bridge. Couldn't finish it, didn't have enough money. About £50,000 was given to the village hall. It took them across the line. So that turbine got you a village hall at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was aware of that. I'm probably sure.
Also, some money was used to go onto the playing field. Less said about that now, as far as with some of the things.
What you're saying is really interesting, but it's sort of digressing from the point a bit.
Yeah.
I know you've almost had your 3 minutes now.
But then the other money is benefits the community through the education support fund, which still does. So, best of luck.
Yeah.
It is and there are so many pitfalls. And also you've got government policy, which keeps changing all the time. You never know where you are.
Thank you. Nothing else? Nope. Oh, still.
I was just going to say, going back to that point and then taking it back to industrial units, obviously you're going to get paid for the land which they're built on. It would be very useful before we made a decision for everybody to know what that money was going to be allocated for. If it's just sitting in a bank, then,
Yeah. Well, that would be. I think that would be part of the discussion at the time. Probably one of the positives sides. Yeah. Sorry. It's not potholes, is it? I'm joking.
Thank you, but some potholes have been filled.
Good.
Hey. Some aren't potholes have been filled. What I was going to say was thank you for the Parish Council's report in the village scene, specifically or particularly about people reporting potholes. It does work. And there are also more potholes in the pipeline that are going to, that are out with the contractor to be repaired in the parish. I've also seen some rather more extensive surfacing works in other surrounding parishes. So I'd like to think that what has been achieved so far can continue. And I'd also like to know if there's any feedback from the meeting with RMP that I couldn't attend, unfortunately, specifically with regard to...
Well, I believe, Joe, you were going to put a précis together, weren't you, following that meeting? The meeting with...
Yeah, sorry, I was
Jeffrey
going to put... I missed what you said. I was going to
Well,
put...
you were going to put a précis out of what was discussed, weren't you? Didn't you say so at the time?
I was doing a whole grant application.
No. I thought you were going to put something on the community page.
Oh, I can do, yeah.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
what was said, what was discussed, because there wasn't many people there.
No.
But he was he was attacked about potholes. Yeah, he was, and he didn't back down from it. And maybe that's got something to do with some of them being done.
Well, may I continue? Say thank you for what they've actually done.
Yeah.
That'll be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Right. You're on, Joe. Clerk's report.
Okay, bear with me. Okay, I sent the correspondence list. It was quite late sending this, so you may not have had a chance to read it, but there are still some issues with getting this defibrillator cabinet and the defibrillator sorted out. I'm just not getting any responses from the company that supplied it, or rather it was a charity. You get to speak to the same person. They've got no escalation process. They've got no complaint process. You get the same person over and over again. In fact, I'm not sure there is anybody else. So I'm still on that, but I'm not quite sure where we go with it, in all honesty. The Cellnex, this was about the mast and the overgrown vegetation around it. They have submitted a site access request, so they are getting a company in themselves to clear that compound. So as it stands at the moment, the heat is off as far as the parish council is concerned.
So we don't need to go and look at it now?
Not the compound. I mean, we didn't have access to the compound anyway. but obviously there are access routes and the moor itself is a bigger piece.
Can I just share?
Yeah, go, sorry, yeah.
When we did that agreement with Celtics, whatever, they were doing their own, they had to clear the way. There's nothing to do with the parish council to let them have access to that site, to the mast.
I think I think some of the problem is a lot of the parties have changed over the years. The parties to the original agreement were different, and I think because there are so many different addendums, I think who is responsible for what has kind of been lost a bit in the midst of time. But they are doing their own, they are clearing it, so you know that's fine.
It's good that we didn't jump in and just do it.
Yeah.
No.
Just on that Thornhill Head quickly. We're still looking for contractors to do that. Nobody really wants to touch that as it stands at the moment. So
that's
fencing, clearance, you know, all the general maintenance. Yeah, general maintenance, not the mast. General maintenance.
I thought Robert Hicks was organising that. Is he not doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But they can't get any contractors to.
Have they tried Kilk? Kilk's got a.
They've done. I don't know who they've gone to, but they've gone to several contractors already, and they've all turned it down. Right. There was a letter sent round from Pierce Construction. I think it's probably worth mentioning because unfortunately there were problems with the sewage pump station. And this actually feeds an awful lot of houses now and has implications when it backs up, and unfortunately it got blocked and backed up. So if anyone has had problems with that, the reason is people have flushed all sorts of inappropriate items down their toilet, including nappies and baby wipes, etc., etc. I'll spare you the gory details. So that blockage has been cleared, but obviously a reminder's gone out and hopefully people will heed it. So that's that. What else do I need to say? Just waiting for confirmation still for the next meeting with Alison Holmes. That will be on site, but I don't know the date yet. I will let you know. I sent across details of the Rural Prosperity Fund. That has opened. It opened at the end of August. Applications are now open, but only for very specific purposes. And it's quite a complicated fund in that it's been carved up into lots of different categories. So if you are looking for funding, then do have a look at that. I've done lots of work regarding fields and allotments and really digging into a lot of the records. As I mentioned, I do need to share some information with the council afterwards. The work isn't complete by any means, so I'll keep people updated on that. But there are some outstanding field rents that still need to be resolved, and I'm chasing those. So that's in hand. And the last thing is I have set up an informal meeting with Highways on Monday. So this was really about, you know, the communication process, the criteria they use, so if any councillors want to participate in that, then as I say, it is informal, but you're very welcome. And that's on Monday afternoon, 2 to 2:30. It will be wherever we decide to meet. It's that informal. Yeah.
So that's not a parish council meeting you've set up?
It's not.
Set it up from the village?
No, as I say, it was really, I phoned up and I said, look, I really need to understand that. And he said, I'll come up. Okay. So I said, great, thank you.
I just think it would, I don't mind coming along just for an need-to-know basis.
Just speak.
Going back to the tenancy, I've had a couple of tenants who said they haven't had their bills yet.
I'll talk to you about, yeah.
You want to talk to me about that?
Joe, 2C, what's all about?
see. Oh, over to everybody. It was where. Oh, hang on. Sorry. No, that was Wincy. I've gone back to Lorna. I've gone back to Lorna as part of the. She sent over the invoice, and I just questioned whether we can reduce the charge.
I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, internet and screen, you could do it down in the hall, but it's a live streaming. That's what the major thing is. You know, it's all the things here are on our channel, and it's there for people to see. I mean, how much do you think you want to pay?
Sure, I have no idea what you're talking about.
This was about the higher equipment costs for the hall.
The equipment here.
Regarding the equipment, George.
It's about the fee, the higher fee for here.
For the hall and the audio stuff.
This is for the chapel.
Yeah, here. Yeah, well, during our meetings.
So what are we paying at the moment?
It's £15 for the hall hire and £15 extra for the media equipment
Fine.
for each meeting.
But I got no idea what the going rate would be.
I don't know. No, I just saw it there and I wondered what all that was about.
So have we been asked for an increase then from the Methodist Chapel or what?
No. I just raised a question whether the fee could be reviewed for the parish council because it's quite high.
Probably paying a meeting.
You know, £30 a meeting is a lot of money.
We'll have to discuss it on next.
So that's where.
Oh, I see.
You skipped over the letter from Brenda about the village scene. I mean, I've spoken to her about that as well, and we are falling behind with that, aren't we? There was nothing in the village scene again this
Yeah, there was. Yeah. It didn't have the logo on, but it's in there. I put an article in there.
So
Yeah.
we've only actually missed one then.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in there.
Yeah, definitely.
2 pages stuck together, must be. Okay, I mean, I was going to suggest that I don't know why we can't post the draft minutes personally, because they are only draft. I mean, let's face it, any media person could come in here and take notes and then post them in a paper the next day, couldn't they? Without them being agreed. So as long as they were on there and it was correct, we can always correct them later, can't we, if we need to?
Well, they weren't being signed off, were they? So,
Well,
and there were, a lot of things were just being pushed back as being inaccurate.
I mean, that's only my view. We've done it before and not had any issues.
Just put them as draft minutes.
They don't go on the website. They're not on the website. Only the minutes that are accepted are on the website.
But is there any reason why we can't put draft minutes on there and call them draft minutes? To give people an idea, the people who haven't come to the meeting or, they shouldn't really have to wait 2 months to see them.
I'm inclined to agree with Richard because anybody can come in here, take notes and then send an article to the village.
Well, this meeting now will be signed off at the next meeting.
And that is the process.
Then they'll go into the village scene on the 26th and won't be read for another.
What was done previously, prior to you coming along? How was it put out to the village scene then? What was different?
I don't know what was out.
We used to do it like a correspondent. I mean, either Pat would write an article, I would, just an update of what happens in the parish council.
Well, maybe that's
And
what we should do.
that's what I've done. That's what I've done.
Okay,
That's what I've
well,
consistently done.
So you've done exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, Trevor, you're here every time. Could you write a little bit for the It's Your magazine as well,
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Sorry, with the draft minutes put in, it'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, it's easier if we got the draft minutes because we weren't able to find them this month. Anything at all to be able to put in the village scene.
You should know better.
That's what started bringing it up.
Well, I mean, there's nothing illegal about putting draft minutes on there, is there? If we're calling them draft. So should we vote and say, should they be put on there? So that the village can actually see what's going on
Can we
time?
put that onto an agenda then?
Okay, yeah, if you can for next, and maybe someone can write a small précis of what's happened. Maybe I can for the magazine for next month. Is that right, Trevor?
Quite a long. Sometimes they're quite long to go in, wouldn't they? You know, the draft.
May I?
Pricing.
I know it's sort of a bit of an extra job and it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm happy if I've got a set of draft minutes because I'm as lazy as the next man.
Well, okay.
To copy and paste and cut and paste bits out and do.
Okay. Well, put it on the agenda for next time. We'll talk about it next time, and maybe someone can just do something for this time.
I'll have a go.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Right. Did that include the update? Sorry. Thank you. Right, not this one again. Council roles and responsibilities. Now, I apologised at the last meeting because I thought everyone was reading emails and knew what was coming. So it just didn't happen the way it should have done. So what we need to discuss here quickly is, do we need subcommittees? And if we do, which ones do we need? We obviously need a personnel one. And I think we need a allotment committee because we haven't done the inspections now since we've been here, and we need to get that done fairly soon.
I think that one should be split because we don't all need to be going to the field.
No, we don't need all of us up there. It's ridiculous.
Just the allotments, really.
But there should be a fields committee as well. There should be a fields committee as well.
Well, yeah, it could be a field committee, but not combined.
No.
So you mean an allotment committee and a field committee?
Because that one's, the fields is trying to live more and everything, and whatever, so it gets complicated. You know, we got tenants who are renting fields quite comfortably, and then the allotments or...
Well, that's something to... So, what are we saying? We need a personnel committee, definitely. We also need an allotment committee, and is everyone suggesting we have a separate field committee?
Yes.
Are we all voting yes to that? Okay, so are we saying that's the three committees we need?
I'd also like to suggest a separate Thornhill Head committee.
Sorry?
Why?
Why? Because it's a really complicated thing. George and others know a lot more about this than the rest of us. And I would love to see George head up a committee that's looking purely after Thornhill Head's interests. I don't think Hicks and Co are looking after our interests.
Can I just make a comment before we start getting carried away with committees? We've all done our training now, and I would just reiterate that every single committee, subcommittee, possibly not working party, but of course working party stuff then has to come out in the public domain. So each one of these committees and subcommittees then has to arrange to be held in public under the supervision of the public and by prior advertising. Now that's the legal default position. So the more committees we're creating, I'm just wondering, the more faff we're adding to things, Chair. And I do just say, are we making work just for the sake of making work?
Call them working parties then, not committees.
But the working party then still has to have its findings, its work brought in front of the full parish council and torn apart and ripped apart. So you're still duplicating work.
I don't know.
Because everything has to be done and analysed and be seen to be analysed in the public domain. Nothing can be done behind closed
Yes, I don't
doors.
disagree with that at all. But if you had
that's what the training course
if you
gives.
had somebody like George and Trevor who know an awful lot about Thornhill Head, putting their heads together and sorting out bits and pieces, and presenting it to the council, it would be, yes, George, you're right, no, George, you're wrong, and that's the end of it. It really needs
Don't forget, Trevor, Trevor and George are both working still.
I got the horrible feeling with Hicks and Co. It was dire, their presentation. George, quite rightly, is saying we've got something there that's an asset. As far as Hicks and Co are concerned, it's a millstone. Now, I would much prefer to have George heading a working party because he knows what it's about. And I think it would be far more progressive to have somebody like that heading up a committee, working party, whatever you want to call it.
But the whole committee has got...
Yes, it then come in front of the council.
Yeah, we
yes,
discuss that again.
I don't disagree with that. But
I don't see the point.
We can all sit here and talk about tadpoles and different types of grasses and special scientific interests. I haven't got a clue what you're talking
It's still
about.
our job to do it,
But-
though, Phil. We still have to do it.
I'm not saying you don't.
He's not saying it's not. He's just saying that.
Let the experts do it and present it to thickos like me in a way that I can understand.
Go on.
Can I just come in on it? Yeah, I sort of agree with Phil to a degree, but it's got to be driven harder and faster than what it is at the moment.
Absolutely.
There is benefits to parish council, great benefits to parish council, but someone needs to drive it on and present it to RH Hicks & Co. with the actual finite knowledge and legal tender behind them. Now, they are inundated with work, and I know probably they get behind, and there's a harvest time in every business, and their harvest time has been now at single farm payment time from April to end of May, or March to end of May, and then it eases off a bit. So, but we need things driven on with RH Hicks & Co to look at the finance, the actual detail of stuff, and yeah, I am still working flat out. I haven't got the time to put full time to it, which is what it needs, but I can, if it's needed with Trevor, we can drive something on, present every month or every other month, any ideas we've got, and how far it's been driven, and then we can drive RH Hicks & Co in front of us hard.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
I quite agree.
I agree with that really
Yes.
as well. It was, you know, if we employ Hicks and Co already, it's just a matter of keeping an eye on their tools and push it along. And we, as a committee, wouldn't need one perhaps meeting a year that we'd have to, you know, inform the public what's going on.
Well, out there.
And
More than
have
that.
a site visit or whatever at the same time. And hopefully all would be good.
Well, it sounds like that's what
I'm
people...
not convinced that we need a separate committee.
Would you like to put this on an agenda again next time? And I mean, do you want to think about it, you two, or you?
I think we'll strictly, like Phil said, it needs driving hard, and needs driving hard pretty quick.
That's true.
It
But
does.
I don't think you need a separate committee to do it.
No, just nominating people is
Yeah.
Yeah.
People to lead on it then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
And we can.
Are you two happy to lead on that?
Yes.
The deadline at the moment is Friday.
Sorry?
I said the deadline for mine is Friday this week. That's has been by, so it's pretty.
Sorry, what have you got on Friday, Trevor?
Well, for my application and to the RPA for, well, it covers my fencing and.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yes,
right.
yes, sir. Yeah, your personal one. Yeah, your personal one, yes.
Okay,
We
look,
can-
right,
we can-
let's go back to these...
And the only thing I wanted to clarify is what Councillor Lowe brought up there. Whenever we have a meeting between us or whatever, are we going to be in a public meeting to declare it, or do we meet ourselves to drive some stuff through? How do you want this dealt with without me getting undrawn quarter?
You become a working party.
And then I got no problems.
You've got no problem.
What you don't want is
have
the
to
whole
have-
village
Can you
traipsing
minute
round
that?
behind you, do you?
Can you minute that? No problems.
Right, can we go back to these subcommittees? We need to appoint a personnel committee. That's the most important one at the moment.
So how many people do you want on the personnel committee?
Now, that's our next question. How many people do we need, do you think? Do we need...
Three.
Hmm?
Not interested.
You're not
No,
interested?
three.
Three? Well, I would say three. Does everyone agree we only need three?
3 or 4. You want 3 or 4?
Well,
you
4
want
you're
4,
gonna-
you want 4. You want 4.
One has to be an officer though, either chair or vice.
No, it doesn't.
That is, well,
No, it
it
doesn't.
does, I've taken advice on it.
No,
and it
well,
does.
no. According to the training, you do not have to have... the
She didn't
chair.
say that, actually. She said it depends on what your constitution says.
Yeah, but I think...
I don't know what our constitution says.
I think we're required to have an officer there.
Well, Joe, what does it say?
It's what our standing orders say.
Don't get me wrong, I don't want to be on it particularly. But she did say it depends on our constitution.
I thought she said with us, we didn't have to.
So the committee would, so the group, that subcommittee would be 3 people. What about if one of the designated people's are not around? So you need a 3 from kind of 4 or something.
You only have a personnel committee once a year, don't you?
Well, it's got to be there for
Yeah.
there may be an issue comes up, there may be an accusation of something, you know, you might need to, Joan might need to come to the committee to discuss something, and it needs to be there. At the moment she's on her own, and so we do need to have it in place. Volunteers? If we're going to have 3, are we going to have 3? Or are we going to have 5?
Well, 5's too many.
See who wants to be on it, Mr. Chair. See pass who wants to be on it. I don't want to be on it.
Well, I put myself
Not
forward
interested.
last time, so I understand.
3 I did as well. Did you?
I'm happy to be on it if nobody else wants to be on it. I'm just...
What the trainer said is that the chair or vice chair can go along and just watch, be there, you know, not actually take part, but just be part of it, and then can discuss it later. I'm happy to do that, and
Yeah, I mean, the
If you
training
want me to.
was,
we can
I
both.
know we did different courses, but my training was very clear that regardless of whether it's within part 2 subcommittee or any other subcommittee, that any elected member may attend
Yeah.
just as...
Well, yeah, but and not be able to take part. They can't take part. Yeah. Well, Dave, you were going to be part of this, weren't you? Henna said yes, so we've got a
You got 2. You got Joe. You got Jane. You got Hen.
Yeah, I would put them in.
Yeah.
You got Jane. You got Hen. Anybody else?
Well, let's have 4 then.
Yeah.
Let's have 4, and then if someone isn't available,
Would it, sorry, a gender split might be a volunteer as well.
pardon?
A gender split, I'm sorry to be, but you know, we've got 2 ladies and perhaps one of our gentlemen might do.
No.
Does it have to be?
No.
I don't think so. We're all equal, aren't we?
Sorry,
We're all equal, aren't we?
2023.
If people are comfortable with all girls.
I'm going to bring us back to the issue that we had before, was Joe wasn't comfortable with certain selections.
I agree, and I've taken advice on that, and
Sorry, sorry,
it's
Chair.
not something we.
What did the councillor say? I missed all that.
She said that she's taken this back to an issue before where Joe wasn't comfortable with having certain members on this committee.
Well, this is a parish council. This is a
Personnel.
Personnel,
I
yeah.
know it's a personnel committee overseeing a paid employee.
And the training we did bring that up in the training, and it was right that if the clerk didn't feel happy with a certain councillor on the personnel committee, she could say.
She could say, and she has said, but it didn't carry any weight, did it? What was said was maybe the 2 in question would discuss it and decide what's best for the council. But it's not up to us to say who we...
How many are we having on this? We're having 3. And that's including the chair, is it?
No.
No.
Not including the chair?
No, you say it's not... I want to know...
Standing orders doesn't say it has to be
The chair, it says the chair of the personnel committee.
It does in our standing orders.
That's in our standing orders.
In our-
It just
so
says
it-
the chair
it
of the
does then.
personnel committee.
Okay, if that's what our constitution says, our standing orders say,
It doesn't say it has to be the parish council chair. It just refers to the chair of the personnel committee. It doesn't actually say that that person is also the chair of the parish council. Historically, it always has been,
right,
but
it doesn't say.
it doesn't
Okay,
say
well,
that that has
that's
to be.
the answer then.
So we're going to have 3.
Are we going to vote on this?
I'll be the male. We've got the 2 ladies here, and that'll be that.
No, Dave.
Dave?
Come on, we're going round in circles here. We need 3 people or 5 people.
3.
I would propose we have 5 then.
Yeah.
I think it might.
We had 5 before, didn't we?
Always available.
Yeah, we had 5 before.
Okay, if we have 5 before, let's go for 5 then.
Well, let's vote on it.
Yeah.
3 or 5?
5.
Hands for 5.
Go on, man.
Yeah, that's 2.
Okay, that's it, 5. So 5 people, please.
But all 5 there at the same time?
No, doesn't have to be.
No, that's right. Yeah, because sometimes that can be too much.
What you don't want is the others turning up.
Yeah, what's the quorum?
Okay, so which 5 have we got?
Go on then. Who's
Me,
1,
Dave.
2, 3, 4?
No interest.
You go for it then?
You said yes?
No, because I don't agree with this.
Well, I know.
Well, you have to.
No,
You have to-
I mean, all right, no, the majority says they want 5 people. If there's going to be 5, I don't want to do it. If there's going to be 3, then I'll
You have to own the vote. If the majority have said that, you have to own the vote as a body.
Yeah.
Fine,
Yeah.
fine.
You can't just say no.
No, precisely. We've got to go.
You've got to go. It's the council's vote. That's what we voted, and we have to own the vote, whether you
No,
like
but-
it or not.
Wait a minute, you're saying there's going to be 5 people on the committee.
Well, 5 people, so.
You want
you've got a
5 people
quorum-
on the
You've got a quorum of 3.
Your quorum,
And
it's quorum of 3, you want
Quorum
5 people on the committee, yeah? So which 5 want to do it?
3 there,
One,
1 here.
That's 4. We need 1 more.
I'll do it. Come on, let's move on. I'm on. Right.
You've forgotten one.
Yeah, I'm going back to it. Allotments. Where?
No. The one who prays in the winter. Snowwood.
Snow.
Oh,
Phil
we,
wanted-
that is a done deal.
Phil said he didn't know nothing about it, so I can give a 10-minute spiel on it tonight if you want to.
Oh, no, thanks, not tonight.
Right.
No. I think it's a done deal, you're the snow warden.
Right.
And I assumed it was a done deal I would carry on as a footpath.
Yes.
Yeah? But we're not subcommittees, we're just leading on it. So that's why I didn't mention them. Now, the allotment committee, we've got Trevor here, me, who were part of it last time. I'm happy to carry on. What about you, Trevor?
No, I think that's by the time I retire.
Okay. All right. Who wants to be part of it?
How many do you
Got
want?
one here.
We had 4 last time.
Was it 4?
So how many do you want?
You've got one here.
I mean, excuse me, we have 1 member of the allotment.
Yeah, he wasn't voted, was he? And he'll have the same opportunity to come along, I think. You? Hen?
Yeah, I'll happily do it.
Someone else, maybe?
In the absence of anybody else,
3?
I'll be as helpful
Okay.
as I can. I don't know much.
That's fine. Those 3 then, please.
So sorry,
Midnight,
is that fields and allotment, or are you splitting fields?
Just allotment. We'll
Just
come
plots.
back to the field one another time.
And the moor?
No. It's, we don't know what's involved with the fields, are we? Do we? What do we have to inspect? In the 3 years I've been on the allotment, and we haven't looked at a single field, because I assumed, I assumed it was looked at by
And what about
PICs.
contracts then, things
No,
like that?
we used to go around and look at all the things.
And are the contracts not looked at regularly?
Well,
Contract.
your contract is your tenancy contract.
Tenancy contracts
Yes,
and
and
stuff
when-
like that.
Oh,
Go on.
I'd like to see one, and I haven't seen one yet.
Well, you can, the parish council can request a copy of the tenancy contracts, which actually, does the clerk have them, or you have them?
But they're managed by Hicks, aren't they?
Where every tenancy, whenever a tenancy comes up, we instruct RH Hicks to make a tenancy agreement up. Now, if you want to go for somebody else, that's entirely up to you. But then the contract should come back so that it's with the clerk, and you got payment dates and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I think it's clear. I was just saying about if there was one member of the allotment holders, then that was say, but he came to the meetings, but he didn't.
Didn't participate here, did he? No, he used to come and have a look. Yeah. Can we write to Chris and see if he's still interested to come along? Yeah, okay.
Because you need somebody from the allotment holders.
Yeah, well, luckily we got hen. I'm not on it.
What, are you not on the allotments now?
No. No, yes, of course I am, yeah. But don't forget we've got to state our interest in it. Yeah. Right, thank you. We've got that sorted finally. 66.
Yeah, sorry, I brought that up at the time. It's just or some.
Just for the public, this is a decision regarding hedge cutting, maintenance relating to parish-owned fields. You can see it up there, can you?
George, you were going to get a copy of the what do you call it, the contract, wasn't it? The fields tenancy to see about that, weren't you? About
Joe was going to.
Joe was going to.
Yeah. So away you go, George.
Yeah, it's just on the roads. There is a lot of growth on, and it's narrows the roads up for the cars. And I always think, you are allowed to cut road hedges for health and safety from the 10th of July onwards. That's long gone now, but we are now in the legal hedge cutting season, and I would suggest that unless there is opposition, that we get it cut at hedge trim by a contractor sooner rather than later, because you can see when I trim the hedges down Oreo and all the rest of it, it certainly makes the road look a lot wider.
Proposing it, are you?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
So that's the outside.
What do you mean by that then, George? You're going to
Parish
contractor to cut my hedges?
Sorry? No, the parish. Oh, sorry, the parish.
Parish fields. Just parish fields.
Yeah. If I said it wrong, I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, in the agreement it should say that the tenant is responsible for hedges, gates and whatnot, whatever.
Fine.
Because we were going to have a look, weren't we?
He's supposed to trim the hedges. If it's a road hedge, he's got to do it both sides.
Is that what the...
No,
I didn't think it did.
The contracts actually just sort of mention the field, so it doesn't actually say about the exterior of the field.
Well, no. Does it say hedge? They have to trim the hedges.
It says hedges.
But that includes the whole edge.
Yeah, that's both sides then, isn't it?
Both sides.
So
if the property has got a road there,
yeah, it's both sides.
And the inside.
Yeah.
So it's their
But that's contradictory to what you said then, because
Me?
Yeah, you were saying that we need to get a contractor in to...
Sorry, I was assuming I hadn't taken that on board about the tenant, so I made a mistake there. So I would ask the tenant to get the road hedge done. If he didn't want to get the field done until 1st of February, that's up to him. But contract to get these road hedges trimmed.
Right. And do we write to them, Joe?
Yep.
Okay. Right. 67, proposal and decision regarding the introduction of regular public surgeries.
Yeah.
What that meant was having a couple of parishioners at fetes, anything going on in the village. It was Hen's idea, it's a good idea.
Parish councillors.
Sorry, parish council. Parish council representatives at village events. It was your idea, it's a good idea. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, very quickly, I did a little bit of a survey around the village, and obviously Dave runs a coffee morning on a Wednesday and things like that, and I was actually sitting here with you all night, and people were actually coming and talking to us rather than sitting out here in an audience and getting 3 minutes worth of chat. work, but whether we can look at possibly doing something on a Wednesday morning, or even, you know, half an hour in the evening or something like that, where parishioners can come and speak to us, and just make ourselves a little bit more available, because I think this can be a bit daunting coming to parish council meetings.
Do you suggest a rota or a voluntary?
Voluntary, fine. I mean, discuss it, yeah?
Shall I I mean, in principle, I think it really is a super idea, and I think first and foremost for me, this should be in addition to the fact that we should be all the time publicly available, because I noticed that our contact details are not on the website, Chair, and of course they should be. We should be available to all the people all the time, so this would be an addition. The only danger is it going to be a case of sort of one in, all in, because, and the other thing is that if we hold these surgeries, obviously we're not going to be in a position of making any promises.
No, of course not.
It's not a case of that, Jane. It's about people coming and speaking to us, like a pothole, for instance, that we can bring to the council, have it put on an agenda, not the pothole literally, and we can bring it, and I can advise that it could go on an agenda, or so it can be discussed with full council. But I did find that people were willing to come and speak to, say, just Dave and I, who were just having a chat weirdly, but they said that they were happier to come and just speak to us as casually with a cup of coffee, rather than speaking.
But that's another matter.
I mean, I think it's a good idea personally. I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads. Yeah.
Yeah. In principle, it seems.
Let's give it a trial run.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. It has its merits.
Proposal and decision regarding the introduction of a subcommittee, for young people to engage with the public, the parish council and the community. Another one of yours.
It's one of mine.
Right, it's the word subcommittee that made me yawn.
I know it probably was, but it's the dreaded Facebook on the community page. There was a lot of tittle-tattle on there about the young people not having much to do in the village, and what was the parish council doing about it, and why are we not spending money. And that's when I sort of came and had a little think about this and thought, well, why don't we give the young people of this parish a little bit of authority, if you like, and have a mini parish council. And I've done a little bit of research again, and from what I've heard, a lot of them would be interested from 16 down to 11, where they're sort of, so they understand how much what precepts are, and we could even give them a slight precept to go away and but it's an idea, and I said I would bring it to council.
You bribe them with a tuck shop.
You could bribe them with a tuck shop. I'm not talking about a major, massive precept to give them, but it would be give them a small precept, and if we haven't got a lot of money, but we can go away and maybe fundraise to get the rest of the money to get whatever they want. It's an idea, and it probably needs.
I would suggest that we talk to the village school, because they've got their own.
They do. They have their own council.
Young people's.
They do.
Whatever they call themselves.
Well, they have a council. They have a council at the school, but I think it's giving them an understanding of the parish council and how we work, and how we haven't got endless amount of money to keep building playgrounds for the youngsters in the parish. As it was sort of being stated, why can't we have another playground at the other end of the village? Well, there isn't the money. And I think it's probably giving them an understanding totally different from the school. School is a school council. I'm talking about a parish council, a mini parish council.
How often would you propose that it?
Well, I was going to suggest that maybe they come and they form a council, and they can have a mini parish council in with us as a sort of a dummy run. It doesn't have to be a full parish council meeting. They can see how it's run and whatever. I don't know. We need talking about. I mean, I'm not au fait with children.
So you want to?
Really.
Basically, so this is like a councillor apprenticeship sort of thing.
Sort of thing, yeah. That's the one.
Couldn't you link it, sorry, couldn't you link it, he's a brilliant headmaster, you know, and couldn't have a serious discussion with
Yeah,
him?
absolutely.
Then, and then have it at the school, have him have 45 minutes or whatever, and you've got 2 or 3 parish councillors, you can set up a parish council between them, and half of them out there and half of them up here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that, rather than, you sure you've got a captive audience, rather than try and drag them in.
And the thing is, George, the school only goes up to 10 years old, so I'm talking about, or 11, all right then. This is how much I know about children. So, you know, we're talking about Torrington School and other schools that these children go to that could be involved.
Fair
If I go
point.
down to the
I
school.
always
yeah.
think,
We can certainly put something out on the website,
Yeah.
can't we, as a suggestion? My only concern is the public may vote for them and kick us out.
They could possibly well do. They probably will talk more sense than we ever would.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Ben. Hymns Plot, that's the first I knew that's what it was called.
Yeah, me too.
We got half an acre that's currently unleased, and if you look at it, it's very overgrown, but it's a decision whether to seek a tenant via a formal tender.
Where did this idea come from then?
Well, it's an empty field, isn't it? It's one of our fields.
Well, current history was we let it out to a tenant who fell all the trees in there
yeah,
and cleared off.
cleared up.
And it's now just beginning to get back to the state it was
Yep.
before this happened.
Yep.
Now, we have a neighbouring landowner who cuts and trims the hedge and keeps it tidy. That was what we agreed with the council 20 years ago.
Yep.
I don't know how long ago it was. And it's now rewilded.
Yeah.
I would suggest it's too steep to get in and do anything with if we just leave it to rewild.
Well, I popped in there and had a look at it because I wondered about clearing it and putting some benches in there and making it a nice quiet area. But as you say, it's steep. There's nothing you can do with it really.
Could we offer it to the school for like a forest school sort of thing?
That's what our downfall was. We let a youngster from Petrock to do some forestry and all the rest of it, and there was a neighbouring farmer wanted to just run and use it, and said we'll go for the youngster. Well, him and the teacher cut the frickin' trees down and cleared off.
Yeah, I just want to do it about learning about wildlife.
But
and
now
nature.
they want this rewilding in the world. It's got actually rewilding, and the overgrown now is going up. There's going to be some young trees and young shoots, what you can't see now at the moment. It's going to be a nice spot in a minute.
Yeah.
It really is. I
I
wouldn't do too much to it. Just that's our bit. Just let it go.
Sorry, George.
It'll be worth some money in a minute.
It'll be what, sorry?
It'll be worth some money with carbon research-registration. I'll tell you, it'll be worth some money in a minute.
So,
What, the land is
okay, well,
No, not to sell, for carbon credits and all that.
the decision we were going to make was whether we seek a tenant. So,
can I just butt in on that?
Of course.
I'm not really au fait. I've had Alan look in there as well, and God knows what it would ever be used for. Yeah, we obviously there is a tenant. There is somebody in the village who already has one of the parish fields, and he's a young chap who's trying to start out. You know who it is, George. And he was wondering, or they were wondering, if they could put in for that.
so there is interest.
There is interest. And
See what his plan is, fine.
yeah, could it be put onto a short tenancy so that, I don't
Just
know.
hear what he wants to do, bring it to the meeting, bring a plan up,
Yeah,
so that we can discuss it.
yeah,
Then we can put it against, well, our brief is to maximise, our brief as a parish council is to maximise the income to benefit the parishioners. That's our brief. So then we can then decide whether how we maximise that, and if we think, give the young man a chance, which we have done in the past, we'll go that way.
but it's the same young man as we've discussed in the past.
You will have to go to a tender.
I'll tell you.
You will have to go to tender. You can't just give it to... Yeah, it'll have to go to tender.
Yeah, yeah, All right, yeah. So let's have a look at it, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So park that for the minute then.
Sorry, Hen?
I think you're suggesting that he comes forward and says what
Yeah,
he would
what he wants to do,
Yeah.
and how long for,
Is
or
this,
whatever.
is this the interest that you've had as well, the same person?
Well, if you're going to do that, you need to go to tender.
precisely. So
But we can ask him what his interest is first.
Shall I
We can hear what he says, and then we can decide as a council.
Well, no, but you've got to go to
We
tender.
can hear what he says.
But we can listen to him,
We can
but we
listen
can't
to
give
him.
it to him, I appreciate that.
Sorry, can I finish? We can hear what he says, and then he can present his case, and then we can decide whether we go to tender or whatever. So let's just hear what the young man says.
Okay, fine with that.
I will also remind the parish council that it used to be the rubbish tip,
Yes?
and the stream's not fenced.
Yeah, I saw that when I went in.
So there's a lot of stuff that would need doing.
Well, let's hear what he says. Let's hear what he says.
Okay. You know the fella, do you?
yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Good.
already got the parish fields already.
Right. Amenity field, number 70. Update regarding recent damage to some property there, and what we're going to do to remedy it. There's some benches in the amenity field that have been cut by a knife.
Well, this did cause a furore on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah, and
you know that hence why I came up with starting the mini parish council. But yeah, what can you say? I mean, it's criminal damage, but they're saying that they're bored.
yeah, which is amazing that that's how it's justified.
Yeah.
But I mean, I must admit I had intended to go and look at them, and I haven't.
I went and had a look at them.
How
the other
badly
day.
damaged are they?
It looks like somebody's been round there strimming round the chairs instead of moving the chairs.
Oh,
They've just been strimming round the chairs, and they've got little cuts all the way round.
but that's not the.
No, that's not the children. That's
No, I think it's been gouged out on the back.
But that's on the back.
Is it something that just needs sanding down?
Yeah, I think.
And then, okay. Okay, well, there's something I wanted to talk about further on, but and that maybe can be done at the same time. So, action on that. We're going to see what we can do to repair it. Maybe move them around a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is the parish council doing that, or do you want me to... You're going to look at those first?
Don't get someone in. Well, let's have a look at it
Okay.
first. It may be just a sander.
It's only the bench at the far end. It's at the very bottom of the field.
Okay. I'll add it to my list. Won't we? We'll do that. Right. We've already heard a bit about this one, number 71. Suggestion received to pursue the installation of a community wind turbine and to decide whether the council wish to lead such a project. Jim's already had a say about that.
Yeah, the person who's brought it forward can't be here tonight,
Right.
which was Ginny Hennessy, and you know, obviously she spoke to me about it, and I said to her to bring it to the council. But it's not just a wind turbine; it could be looking at solar panels, which were probably the better idea. Bearing in mind you've got to have a wind turbine, so many. Well, obviously George knows better than I do about it. But yeah.
Yeah, I did a bit of research, and I suppose, in principle, for me personally, looking forward, there may come a time when every community has to have one. There is a bit of a but, and you can feel the but coming up. At the moment, permitted, and George knows a great deal more about this than I do, but I'm sort of safe because I did do a little bit of research. Permitted development rights don't apply to wind turbines mounted on a dwelling house or building within the curtilage, the dwelling house. Anything else, you have to submit a planning application. Now, government rules introduced in 2015 mean that just one objection to an onshore wind turbine can stop an entire project and the thing being built. And because of this ban, only 2 onshore wind turbines have been built in England since 2020. Now, the government announced last week, obviously, that they intended to try and facilitate district councils making that decision. I suspect what will happen is that district councillors have suddenly thought, oh my God, because I don't suppose anyone's spoken to them. There is also the matter of the impact on the national grid, and I know that George knows more about this far more than I do, but you know, you can't just get a wind turbine or a solar panel or anything else. The national grid has to be involved. So it probably is, for me, perhaps something to me desirable but long term, and that perhaps we ought to start seeing what everybody else is doing before we start saying what a great idea. It is a massive, massive piece of work, I would think. So perhaps it's something, from my thinking, that we keep a watching brief on every 3 to 6 months. Perhaps somebody likes to go and find out what other people do, report back to the parish council, and so that we don't
Jane,
kill this.
I think,
you know.
Ginny, it's actually gone to somebody who would happily come and give
Yeah,
a talk to the parish council, and he's willing to come out and do that.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
There's only one problem. All the property that we own, we wouldn't be able to put a turbine on for a start, because it's against the rule.
Well, we don't have to necessarily...
Every field is only like 20 or 30.
But we don't necessarily have to look at a wind turbine. We could look at solar panels. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. 'Cause it's got to be within 350 metres of...
and the other one, like you say, is having a supply from the national grid to connect to. Once you've generated even with solar panels.
Did you say it was a 10-year waiting list or something?
Yeah, 10 years to get on the grid. There is no spare capacity.
I would think it, you know, we just as well bin the idea for the time being, see what everybody else does, and then...
it'd be good to have someone come and chat, though, wouldn't it?
I think it'd be useful. I think binning an idea that somebody in the parish has come up with and is happy just to say we'll bin the idea and let's see what everybody else.
Unfortunate term, I think. I think that.
I think it would be useful to have somebody here to talk and hopefully get parishioners here as well to listen, because this is their investment as well.
Yes.
It's not the parish council investing in this; it would be the parishioners.
How much, George?
What size wind turbine you have?
What? Just for instance, your one.
Oh, 3 million.
3 million?
Yeah.
I've got that in our back.
I'll write that.
But it's certainly.
It's a connection.
It's not.
Sorry, it is a connection. As Councillor Trevor said, probably we could get right on and do something with solar panels in the few fields we've got. You isn't going to get very much,
No.
but then you've still got a grid connection. Then it'll cost you that's going to cost you well over $500,000 for even a small piece of that, because you've got to dig, and you've got to get landowner's permission. You've got to dig it. I mean, the wind turbine I put up, we had to dig a trench from there all the way to where Tesco's is, or Asda is, near there in Bideford.
Yeah.
All the way. So
you had to dig a trench all the way up there?
You had to dig a trench all the way up through there. And compensation to landowners was well over $250,000. And it is horrendous amount. And look, I've been slammed on that Facebook side. It really upset me. The wind turbine didn't contribute nothing. Well, Jim told you exactly what it contributed, so it does contribute a lot to the thing. As soon as the opportunity comes up, we can get a connection in. It'll be either solar panels or wind turbine. It'll be on. Now, one could start an opening and get in the queue for a connection, which we would need then to talk to someone. There's a lot of cowboys out there. Trust me, I'm bitten so many times this early. So many cowboys. I know of a very honest and genuine firm that we can start making inquiries if you want to start moving things on.
Well, it would be worth just, sounding somebody out to begin with. And we're not committing to anything, are we?
No.
The chap that you're talking about, he would probably have ideas of the pitfalls anyway, wouldn't he?
Well, I think it's somebody Gilly has found, but I'll find out who he is, and I'll pass it through George as well.
Okay.
So, sorry, what we're going to do next?
Not commit to anything.
We're not committing to anything.
To have see if somebody will come out and give a talk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously a project that we would, you know, you'd be mad not to want this sort of thing because of the way we're going, and you know we need to. But I mean, it's.
The new housing estate is
I think it might break the bank at the moment.
at the top of Abbottshire there. Can't get electric connection for 2 years.
Okay, can we move on?
Solar panels on the roof.
Right, 72, governance review, grant awarding policy, decision whether to adopt the revised policy. Now, I was away on holiday last week. If I had known about this then, I would have asked for it to move to a part 2 meeting. There's been a number of people spoken to me, and I have to sympathise with what's being said about some of the wording of the policy and the wording of the accompanying email. So I don't want to go along with this at all. I would have stopped it beforehand. Tonight we've got to have a vote to agree to put it into part 2. So I'm proposing that we don't talk about 72, we move it to part 2 at the next meeting.
I'm second.
Now, before I ask you to vote, there's going to be people here who have no idea what I'm talking about and why. I can't explain here in the public why, but I think you'll see when we talk about it why it's such a sensitive subject. So what I would ask you to do is trust me and vote for part 2, but I can't force that. So can we have a vote on that? To move the proposal and seconded to move number 72 to a part 2 meeting at the next meeting.
I can't vote on something I don't know.
I don't understand it. I don't know what.
I'm telling you, you can't discuss this in public.
Okay, really? All right, that's fine, you've got it.
So anyway, we've got 5, 6. So we'll move that and add to the agenda for part 2 at the next meeting.
Excuse me, could you move the agenda up so we can see what you're talking about?
Sorry?
The agenda.
She can't see the agenda, so it's not. See what you mean,
What it was, I'll explain. We were looking to update some of our policies. And this one was to do with our grant policy, which was last looked at in 2018. And there's been a new updated policy suggested. It's not the policy that's an issue, it's something else which I can't talk about. So we'll talk about that next time. And then once we've spoken about it, it will come back on the agenda, and then the public will know about it. Okay, moving on. Update regarding webmaster role and the website. Now, the reason this is on here is because our webmaster is going to hand her notice in, or has. She has. The reason being, she hasn't got the time to do it, which is fair enough. So what we'll need to do is add this to the agenda for next time to see how we're going to move on with it, whether we're going to employ another one, whether we're going to be able to utilise existing personnel.
And whether you renew the website too, because you should do it every now and then.
It's something, I mean, none of you knew this, so it's something we need to think about, so it's probably not the right time to talk about it now. I mean, she spoke to you, didn't she, Jo?
So, you know, she's got a full-time job that has become, you know, a lot more than when she took on the the webmaster role. The other thing is very quickly about the website. We were originally looking at a WordPress website, but having looked at other options, there is a better option now for a website, which is a Wix one. And I think that's much more user-friendly. So that's one to explore probably rather than what we were looking at before.
Can I just say, Chair, that we should thank Wendy. I know how much work there is, and congratulations for soldiering on with what she's done.
Yeah. So just going back to the webmaster role, so there's a few things to consider. I mean, I've spoken to Jo, and she's been talking to Wendy, and she feels there is probably only a small amount of work that she could probably take on herself, and that's something we'd need to discuss, or whether we employ someone else, or whether we already feel there's too much for Jo to do at the moment, and she shouldn't be taking on another role. But that's something to think about, ready for next time. Yeah?
Yep.
Jubilee Beacon, we still haven't got it back. 7 months on. Summer's gone. Opportunity's been lost to make a feature of it. What are we going to do to get it back?
Why haven't we got it back?
Tell me.
To basically so these guys can know, this beacon that belongs to the parish council is at somebody else's house.
No, it's in the shed, isn't it?
It's in their shed.
On the field.
Sorry?
In the field, isn't it? From what I read the last time.
It's in store apparently, and what we were told last time, up the road somewhere.
Yeah.
But what we were told last time is we were waiting for grass cutting so that the field could be accessed so that we could have it back.
There's still grass around where it is at the moment.
Is there?
You can manually carry it, can't you?
And Andrew is also going to, you realise he's not too fit, but he's got a problem. He needs to do a bit more welding on it, and he said he's up to doing it, but not just at this moment.
My concerns here.
Is it broken, is it? Did he break it?
No, it needs a bit of readjustment.
Yeah, my concern is we've got this beacon lighting coming up next year, and I know it's a long way off, but we asked for this 7 months ago. You know, and grass cutting isn't really an excuse because it wasn't then. We could have had it. Now I don't know what to do. What does? I'm worried that we don't get it back.
Well, I'm strong.
I'm worried. Is it there at all?
Chair, can we not just go up and get this beacon from where this shed is and just bring it back and then...
Can we not do that? Can we just not walk up there, meet him up there and carry it over? I mean, I've got people who would do that, but it's his land, it's on his land, we can't trespass.
No,
but he's got property belonging to the parish council.
could we write him a letter and ask him to meet on a certain day if he won't do it by phone?
Has a letter been written, Jo?
No.
But, and Trevor, he's your friend, you're saying we're going to get it back. Shall we park it for another meeting? I mean, the summer's gone now. We're not going to use it for what we wanted it for now. We're not, and it's going to sit in my drive. I'd rather it was there.
I know. Yeah, well, true. But
I mean, I wanted it. We wanted it up the field.
Once it's back, isn't it? But
Trevor, he's your friend. Guide us.
you do need to get
Guide
it
us. Thank you. Right, let's move it to the next one, please. I mean, the last thing we want to do is start getting heavy with this, isn't it? We don't want to be having official letters.
Sorry, Chair, I don't think he quite caught what Councillor Mills said. He said he'd have another
I did hear that, yeah. I did hear that, thanks. And we'll leave it for now. Northwood Lane, a decision regarding possible signage up there. Now, I've asked for this to go on because I know Jane has had some communication with a parishioner about Northwood Lane, and I also know that George has. And they were going to be bringing it up as part of reports. But that would mean we couldn't talk about it. So just quickly, Jane, do you want to say what you've been told, what you've had, and
Well,
George?
mine's simply an update. I'm just trying to find that. Yeah, somebody expressed concern simply about the signage that had appeared.
Can I just stop you a minute? Just Northwood Lane, do you all know where it is? It's the little track opposite the village green that goes up towards the village. Yeah, and it goes all the way down as far as until it stops. Yeah, that's Northwood Lane.
That's the one.
Okay.
And quite simply, all I was going to say was that the ownership of the lane is probably established, but legal clauses about rights of passage are still under active investigation. I'm still trying to ring the parishioner who brought it up for me. I think they might be away on holiday. But what I was going to say to this person was that this is ongoing. It's about rights of way and rights of passage that need clarity.
It does. Just
everybody uses the walk all the way.
Yeah. Well, that's to reiterate this. It's not a parish council lane, so we have no jurisdiction over it. We're just talking about it because parishioners are worried. There's nothing we can do.
We've got a right of
Yeah.
way. Just get to the land. The landowners
We've got a couple of suggestions.
Have gone right and to travel up and down.
Well, George has been approached by the lady who has the horses at the far end.
Yeah.
Away you go.
Right. There's a young lady down there and a mother. They've got a little business down there, and they've had people walking around down there looking at it. They've had cars driving up and down there, and the young lady feels when she's on her own there in winter coming, she's you know, quite rightly just don't like a lot of people going up and down there, whatever. The next, she got a lot of valuable equipment there, and as Councillor Mills said, all of that property owners and landowners have a perfect right to use that lane, no matter whoever owns it. And the next one up, he's got a lot of expensive machinery up there, and there's a lot of thieving going on around. They asked my opinion about it. A few years ago, I used to use the lane and move sheep around, up and down through and all the rest of it. But then I got a lot of people going through crops and driving sheep out at the end, so I put a gate out there, they smashed the gate and all the rest of it. So I just said to the young lady, I said, look, just let it go, see what happens. If you just advise that it is the landowners' people to go up and down, and vehicles, unless they're authorised to go up and down, you may get a reduction. Well, there will be a reduction on vehicles. So all that is, and it's only been brought up because of the young lady there working on her own, winter coming and all the rest of it. So if anybody wants to go up and down there, I mean, I personally haven't got no trouble with that, but perhaps they just mention who they are to the young lady, long as she knows, that's all she wants.
Yeah.
There's not a sign there that says that it's dead end, is there?
No.
Going down there. So.
Well, do you want a lot of signs set up and down, dead end, all the rest of it? I mean,
well, I know exactly,
yeah,
but I'm trying to understand why somebody would want to go down there. That's all.
Following a sat nav, possibly,
Yeah,
or
maybe.
just wonder where that goes.
So the state, can I just confirm then, the state of play is that any member of the public can walk down there?
no, as the law goes, it's only the property owners and landowners of that lane. Once it's past the parish council field, because anybody, the parish council will allow anybody to go in the parish council fields as what the tenant requires. So after that, it is, but it is used for going up and down. But if you're down there working hand on your own in the winter night and lots of people going up and down, how would you feel about it?
I took this to the footpath committee on the council,
right,
because after speaking to George and Jane, and I spoke to a chap there who says no one knows who owns it. You could probably find out, but it would take some detail and time to do. He also said that the fact that people have had access through the years, walking down there, means that that would probably continue anyway, and you probably couldn't stop people walking through there. But he accepted that vehicles shouldn't be going down there, that have no business going down there, and I asked him if there was anything he could do to help me, and he came up with this. Oh, it's gone.
Somebody's nicked it.
That, which is sat at my house, and I've got a post to put it.
Looks like a Johnny Fine
Now,
sign.
George and I have discussed this, and George is is trying to find out some legalities about ownership or whatever. But it would decide, you'd have to decide, it's quite a big sign, you can see, it's quite a big sign. Obviously it's not Devon County Council, but they were good enough to offer the sign as a help that might deter vehicles going down. I would suggest we didn't put it up, we asked the lady to put it up if she wanted to, but we'll need to discuss going forward where it should go. And it might actually help us, not us, council, but the field association, because it would also help vehicles not going down there, depending where where the dog bin is. If it was put there, it's quite wide at that point, it would work for both the field and the rest of the lane. But that's something we'll need to discuss. But I just wanted you to be aware of what...
Who's going to police it?
Hmm?
No.
So that's what I've got at my house. Whether you think it's a good idea, we'll maybe talk about it after George has found some more information out. I've also said to Katie, who's the girl, that I will put some extra signage showing where the footpath should go at the point where it enters the playing field. There are some signs there, yellow signs pointing the footpath into the field rather than down the lane, but I'm going to make them more visible, and I've got some extra signs again from the council which I will put up in the next week. So hopefully that will stop people walking that way because they'll know where to go from the footpath point of view.
But people can still walk
Yeah.
into the box.
Yeah, they can. We don't need to advertise it, but I don't think you're going to be able to stop that.
Sorry, David, down to where?
All the way to the bottom of the lane.
Is it a long way? I've never been down there.
Oh,
Is it quite a nice...
It's a bit old.
Yeah, is it quite a pretty walk, is it?
I walked down here when I first moved here, and partner and I, we were told to get off. It's private land by that
Well,
young lady. So.
introduce yourself as who you are. Katie's all right.
Kate
I've
knows,
spoken to
but
her.
she knows
She knows,
why.
but I understand her concerns.
It's a safety issue. I mean,
Yeah.
the lady,
I understand
it's
her
a safety
concerns.
issue with the lady.
Yeah.
And Shadow Man points out
And animals and
it's
health.
fat breeding season, so I suspect
It's a there and back walk, though.
it's just beautiful.
I'm sure there's other lanes that
Sorry?
that seem.
Okay, no decision to make there, just information. Okay. Amenity field again, maybe you should have mentioned this earlier, but I have got the waste bins at my place that were bought for the amenity field. Waste of time putting them up at the moment because we've got no one to empty them. I want to get them up because I want them off my house, off my... Actually, they're not on my property, I'll tell a lie. I've moved them to the village hall. They're around the back of the village hall. But it'd be good to get those up. Now, what I was going to suggest is maybe we could engage a member of the public down by the village hall, down there. Maybe someone who would like to empty them every 2 weeks and put them in the pile with all the black bins. Is that something we could do on the community page and see if someone would be prepared to empty them?
I'll pop some in the village scene as well if it helps.
Yeah. Once we've got someone who'll be prepared to empty them, then we can put them up and save some of the litter that's being thrown around. We've got them, we might as well use them. Agree?
Who's going to provide the liners of the bin then?
We'll buy those, the parish council will buy those.
It's not
won't
nice for somebody to empty them and then
Yeah.
you've got,
No, we'd have to buy those, I would guess.
Do they go out with domestic waste or commercial waste?
What's this?
Domestic waste for black sacks?
Yeah, it's not dog poo.
No,
it'll be black sacks. It would go out with the black sacks, so it'll be all the...
Chair, there is a little issue of, and I guess I'm really woke here, aren't I? But a health and safety issue if you're asking somebody in the parish to empty the bin and somebody puts something like a knife in there or something that they could injure themselves with, are we going to be liable for that? That just came from you, so I'm just passing
something
Public
in
liability.
the meanings is
Can we check the public liability?
Yeah, we know, okay. Can you check on that, whether we can do that? Otherwise, we're either not going to put these up, or it's going to be one of us doing it.
I'm just crossing the T's, dotting the I's then.
Who needs to feel disrespectful?
Joe, you live near there.
She's going to say, not quite close enough, thanks.
Something's just
She
been thrown
lives
across.
miles away.
Where are they going to collect new bags from? That's what I-
We'd buy them, wouldn't we?
No,
Have
but
to-
where would they store them? How would you get at them? To put new bags in, that's what I'm saying.
what do you mean?
Yeah, they
In the
can
bin,
sort of
when you take the bags out, the line.
The bin has a key.
Yeah, no, but where do you get the plastic bags from?
Well, we'd
Put
issue
new
them
in.
to whoever was
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
issue them
I got
to
you.
whoever's
Doing the job.
doing the job.
Yeah, got you. Yeah,
Trust the volunteers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah,
Just a thought,
yeah,
but I'd like to get the bins up.
yeah.
It's good for the field. We're getting there, and it's not too bad. Members' reports. Members' reports. Okay, start with you, Dave.
Yeah, I was approached by a member of the public. You couldn't get hold of you. She said, would it be a good idea to think about electrical car charging points somewhere in the village, because there is quite a lot of electric cars coming about now. Just an idea. I don't
It's another green idea which you can't turn away
When we
from.
get our solar panels,
wire it up. We've talked about it at the village hall meeting before, haven't we? Because it was, that was seen as a good idea to put it down there. But
It is a good idea.
I just think and I agree. I think we ought to kind of think about it.
Shall we put it on an agenda? It's a good idea.
There's an EV charging point up to the Get Road there, isn't there?
yeah. Oh, yes, there is.
That's one, that's the
Where?
first one.
What's that?
Down past Trevor's up, next down
Oh.
past Cranham up there.
Yeah. Okay.
The only thing from a parish council point of view is you haven't got a building or anything to fix it to, have you?
Sorry?
You haven't got a building or anything to fix it to. Where would you put it for a parish council?
I don't know whether we discuss it again.
Perhaps that's something we should put on an agenda and
Yeah.
discuss.
Well,
when
we
it's
have.
brought to
Have
us.
Past the village hall.
I think we just, yeah. We ought to think of not to kind of discuss it.
Well, that's the way forward, isn't it?
Yeah, ask the-
Electric
ask the
cars
village
are the way
hall.
forward. Yeah.
Oh, right. I expect a few. Have you finished?
Yeah, well and truly.
I don't know if everybody's aware that on the early hours of the 11th, there was a vehicle that was seen acting suspiciously, two males, possibly males, going up to either side of the shop, and a member of the public who lives opposite sees them, opens her curtains, and they see her, they jump in their van, no lights, went off towards them. Obviously, looking at the shop, there was a break-in, I believe, in Frigglestock, where some bikes were stolen all on the same night, and I think something else happened over at Fairy Cross. You know something a bit more on that?
Well, I just wondered if they were actually reckoning the kind of
Or they were looking at the oil.
No, I've put in some more padlocks on that. I didn't put the barbed wire up yet, but also I think what we will probably be thinking about doing is maybe putting a light that's
Well, I
at
was
the
going
end.
well, I was going to mention that is that Pat Bloss mentioned that there was a light in the bell shelter that could possibly be moved, but I think it's one of those irritating lights that basically light up the whole village if a fox walks past, and could be quite irritating to anybody living around there. You can get the dimmer ones now that will trigger. I think the days of having these great big bright lights shining out and waking up half the neighbours.
I think what I'm going to explore is put them on at the end, because we need a light where the fire exit is as well. So that would shine down by the oil tank and.
I think the shop committee are going to talk about this tomorrow,
They are.
because it's their place,
I
isn't
put
it?
something out on the community and the parish, but I will send something off to the village scene as well, so that just to make people aware rurally that we should, the police don't get out here, as we well know, very quickly, and we'll
Pat suggested that the light in the bus shelter was ours, Parish Council.
It is, but
And
I think it's too bright.
It's too bright.
It's one of the sort that will light up the whole of the village.
No, okay.
If a
But if
fox
it,
lights
what
up.
I was going to say was, I'm sure that we would vote that,
I'm sure
that,
we
that
would,
it could be
yeah.
used,
Yeah,
but it really isn't our property, is it, at the moment? But I think that they're certainly going to discuss it tomorrow.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. But I think it needs to be thought about with what I said as well, because I suspect they were looking at overtime.
Little bit different.
From a parish council point of view, it would be worth mentioning about defibrillators as well, because I think it was Ferry Cross that got their defibrillator stolen.
Really?
It was a defibrillator, was it? Yeah. I know some, oh, right. But there was something going on up there as well, same night.
Right.
Sorry, that's all I've got.
Well, yeah. Thank you.
A parishioner, someone came up to me and were discussing about accounts, about the money that we've got, and that it's quite confusing of how it looks and how it perceives of how much money that we've actually got into the accounts and all that. And I spoke to my son, who's an accountant, and he was just wondering whether or not we could put it into consolidated groups. I can't say it, sorry. Consolidated. And he was just saying you could have like the fields, and then you could have the allotments, you've got your grants, and ratios, margins and things like that, and just do it like that so you can see. Thornhill had more on its own, obviously, and then just do it, you know.
Ordered for once, isn't it?
I could get him to come to one to show how he would do it, but he was...
Well, that's what I
I
present.
thought we did that.
That's what I do.
Do you do that?
Yeah.
It doesn't actually look to... I wasn't looking at it, but I was... When I look at it, it just looks like you've got like a...
Lots of money.
Lots of money, but we haven't, have we? Do you know what I mean? Perhaps I'm looking at it wrong.
No, it's probably the Thornhill.
That's the one we can't touch.
I think that's the thing though, Jay, because there is this, before I came on the parish council, I thought the parish council had a lot of money.
Yeah, it
And I
looks
think lots of people out here will think they've got
Yes.
lots of money.
Yeah.
But we don't,
No,
and
we
our
don't.
precept is small, and of course I now am enlightened. But I think the parishioners need to know this as well, because they think we're rolling in it.
Yeah.
Hence
Is that what you think?
Well, you see the accounts.
Yeah, and it all looks and perceives that it is, but
It's
it's
going to be
not.
done in a proper way anyway, isn't it?
But the parishioners, this is their money, and they need to see what we have.
Up to the end of September, when I'll be doing the quarterly summary, so I'll pull together some information to separate it all out. I think what confuses the issue is the money that has to be set aside for Thornhill Head. I think if you take that out of the equation, it's very, very apparent that it's very, very tight on a day-to-day basis to operate the parish council.
Last year we overspent, didn't we? We spent more than our income. George and Jane are going on a finance course soon, so you'll be able to look into that.
Whiz it right up.
Yeah.
No, not for me. No.
Yeah, I just mentioned it to Joe, Eric, Tucker, and Jimmy. They need their bills. Eric Tucker and Jimmy. I've spent there earlier. They need their bills for. I'm asking for their bills, please, for the rent rent bills so they can pay you.
We've had the allotment bills now, haven't we? Yeah.
I set an example.
Right, sorry. One or two, as I say, people knock on the door, all sorts. Just to update the parish and the parish council, there is an ongoing issue regarding a non-response from our county councillor to a parishioner from the 6th of June. I raised this non-response with Sir Geoffrey Cox at his visit, and his aide, or whatever you want to call him, John Bray, came back to me on the 6th of September. I have still had no contact. I rather hoped our county councillor might turn up tonight. So I will feed back to John and see where that takes us.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's first one. Second one, an apology to some people, possibly from me, but I put a note in the village scene about get your shingles jabbed. Now this was from me, not as a parish councillor, but from me because I've been ill, so I didn't know. So I refer to my article in the village scene. A parishioner knocked on my door and demanded to know why I put that article there when her medical centre had refused her a jab. So, you know, when we'd had a conversation, I did explain to her which piece of media I'd taken my information from. It's become evident to me over the few weeks that I've been watching this that one piece of advertising doesn't talk to another. Interestingly enough, different healthcare people that I know also have a completely different message. So again, I've written to our MP's office simply saying, look, please would you communicate with the Department of Health and make sure they've got all their ducks in a row so that people know what they can get and what they can't. So my apologies if I've misled people. It's my fault. The seed painting, I still have the tools. Illness has stopped me. I'm limited to best endeavours. Any offers of help, welcome. Do contact me. If anybody wants to help me, I'm still willing to do it, but it will be a bit of a slow old haul. So if anybody fancies painting a few seats by the church, get in touch with me. Just before I became ill, a member of the community, and I couldn't see this on members' reports anywhere in the minutes I've read, said, can the community please have a Christmas tree? And all I'm saying is, can we put that on the next agenda just to discuss? Can the parish council provide this?
We're going to
have done it.
we're going to have one outside.
Yeah, I know.
But do you want one on the
No,
green
it's
side?
not what I want. It was what the parishioner said. But a number of people in her group have said that they wanted one from the parish council.
Actually, Betty Banks brought up a bell ringing the other week, which we didn't discuss, about having solar lights put in the trees. She's always bought them in the past, and she was wondering if that could possibly go on an agenda to be discussed.
Well, maybe the two can be merged into
This
one.
is what I was thinking.
Did you put it on the agenda for next time then, Joe? Thank you.
This is a bit more immediate, and apologies if anybody's on the case and I'm jumping the gun. But we've got Remembrance Sunday coming up in a couple of weeks. It's on the radar. Okay, I'll cross that out. Thank you. Parishioner has mentioned to me that contacts for the parish council are not visible on the website, but bearing in mind Joe's news about dear Wendy, I suppose it's perhaps just not been done, but they do need to be placed.
I thought our email addresses were on there.
They're not.
Are they not?
No, I think they will.
There is a God then.
I think they will sort of disappear. And we are obliged to have them, so I don't know, Joe, what you can advise about.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy if you put my telephone number on there.
You're in the right place to say that.
Contact details, but is it one that you've got the password you can perhaps get back on there? What's missing?
For on the
Contact
website.
details.
Well, I thought it was agreed that you would just have your email addresses, so that
I don't think they're on there.
yeah, they are. Yeah,
No.
or you,
Sorry,
No, they're not on there.
Are they not?
No.
on the council links, they are. They're there.
I just want to people don't got knocked off when the photographs got posted. Could that happen? It's possible. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm very happy for my phone number to go on as well.
And me. You can put mine on there.
You know, I know people phone me out their number, but I'd rather it was there, if that's okay.
I would rather my phone number didn't go on just because of what I did for a living before. If my name comes suddenly up and my phone number's on there, then my last customers might enjoy ringing it.
So I'll just quickly moving on. Yes, Councillor Hayward and I are attending the finance course by Zoom, same meeting but in separate venues. I think so we're doing that. And Chair knows I'd like to attend conference on the 27th, John. I think perhaps you've got a spare place. Yeah. And Councillor Watson, David said he'd give me a lift because I think it's important for us to get out there networking as much as we can.
Was anybody else going?
I mean, you know, it's open to everybody and there's plenty of places.
Sorry, when is it?
Is this the finance?
27th of September. Down at, I'm assuming it's Exeter Racecourse.
Yeah.
I'll check the diary.
It costs
So you've booked 2 places, haven't you?
I've provisionally got, I had 2 places plus 1 for the vote. Now, if you stay beyond the vote, you've got to pay for a ticket and they're £45 each, plus that.
But it's actually quite useful to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said.
You know, there's usually a lot of people giving displays, the sandwiches. And you get to talk to other councillors from around them. So
Yeah,
it is
there are other parish councils and people that I've met in the past. I'd love to catch up with what other people are doing. I'm a great believer in, I have no shame, I will steal anybody's ideas. I
no,
really
it is
will.
quite useful.
Yeah.
Jolly.
Oh, I sound like a jolly to me. A little old catch-up in my book.
It's important. We have to,
Very
we have to,
nice.
you know. Yeah, that was Devon Communities together.
You done, Jane?
Not quite. It was just, and then I'll stop. But just people, you know, sort of. I think perhaps some people are not aware that we don't have any workforce, assigned workforce. Just an awareness that the workforce is what you see sitting here, and it's all done on a best endeavours basis. So it looks like something's not getting done. It's probably that we just haven't had time yet. And anything that we contract out has to be paid for. And as Hen said, there's not so very much money, so we have to be very, very careful about what we contract out. So I will stop there.
Thank you.
Yes, there's one thing that bothers me. These kids on their scooters, they whizzing up and down the electric scooter. I saw one day before yesterday. He come out from up through the village, out on the road. He comes up there, he goes up around the green, and he shoots straight out across the road, on the corner and down. Ginger-haired lad, about so big. And he was on the road tonight when I come up as well. He don't watch it. He won't be seeing it next year. You know, plus whatever he does to anybody else. That's the
You're not the only person who's made a complaint about that.
Sorry?
You're not the first person to make a complaint about that. It's been on Facebook, on the community page.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't use Facebook.
No, I think you commented, didn't you? I mean, I know you don't, but I think you
Came
commented
out,
on it. Came out here.
came out straight out in front of the car.
Yeah,
at the end of the
yeah.
day.
He come off the, no looking, nothing, just straight out.
It's an accident waiting to happen.
You know, I don't know, he was probably going 10 mile an hour, something like that, shot out. Well, he never had a chance to look up the road because he's on the corner there, you know.
Can we put just a note on the website just to take care?
I will mention it then.
I mean, I guess you'd be loath to say too much after the last one, but maybe just a reminder of road safety.
Some of this sort of in between, isn't it? It's that little bit older,
It's difficult to
secondary
tell
school that
sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if the community police, whatever,
Liz Rendell.
Liz Rendell,
Is she a
she
PCSO?
was made aware of the fact that, you know,
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
the other item was Eric's bill, really, so he had to go with me as well, so.
Right.
Okay.
Done? I've got nothing to say. I've said enough, I think. Tonight you've heard me enough. Moving on then. Planning applications. And I see we've got some new faces. Is that what you've been waiting for all night, some of them? No? No? Good. Right. 78. The first one is 6 Gorwood Road. Proposed front and rear access improvements. It looks like ramps, I don't know if they're
disabled ramp.
disabled ramps or whatever, yeah.
It looks fine to me.
No, all fine?
Yeah.
Fine, yeah, no problem. The second one is Great Eckworthy, a conversion to an existing barn to a dwelling.
Quite out the way.
Keeps the place in the country.
It's miles out of, yeah.
Turn it into a dwelling, no problem.
And then if you look at the plan, they're not turning the whole barn, they're just incorporating part of the barn into a property. It's really going to not change the outlook at all, is it?
I do have a couple of caveats. So, I mean, you know, for me it's okay with caveats, and I see that it's, as I say, SDO7, SD14 within the local plan. There are some thoughts in the ecology report, and we might just, as a parish council, want to underpin those thoughts within the ecology report. You know, due to the presence of an existing dwelling to the south, there's potential for temporary disturbance, and there are some recommendations there, so we might want to just underpin those. I'm afraid for me, I am always a bit concerned, especially in the current press, about sewage and this, that and the other. There is no proposal to install a proper septic tank. Personally, I am concerned by that.
They have to abide by the plant rules, which you've got to install a proper septic tank.
Yeah.
And now is a proper, it's not a natural soak away, it's a proper area.
Well, yeah, I think George has looked at that. I sort of looked at it, and maybe I misunderstood what I was looking at. Obviously, we know there's no mains. You know, there are no public sewer in the vicinity. But yeah, do you? Well, it says, do you propose to use a septic tank? No, it says no. You know, will the discharge go to a drainage fluid or soak away? I mean, I know there are guidelines, and I know there are checks, but I simply express my concern, bearing in mind
we can highlight that.
Yeah, I wonder if we're looking too deeply into this. I mean, we're only here to comment, and any building regs will be dealt with by the council, won't they? We don't need to worry about those, surely. We're not building controllers.
No, but I can still express concern.
So, you know, leave it to the experts for that, but I'm happy for this to go ahead, based on...
Yeah, as I say, I have no...
Yeah, okay.
It's all fine.
Yeah. And the last one, Timber Lodge, proposed livestock building.
The only feeling I've got, given a large concern, isn't it?
It's broad a bit.
Over, you know, it was just a timber lodge, a caravan, years ago, in the woods. Now it's got to, what was the last one they put up? A straw storage shed. And now it's another livestock building.
It's a calf bedding area, a calf feeding area, and a bedding area. 3-bedroom house.
But yeah, it just concerns me, you know, the parish council always fought on that side against any planning going back, because it was the woodman's caravan in the middle of a wood. And we, the past council, fought for years against stories saying, you don't want that sort of thing here. And it's, you know, it just goes on and on.
So is this in the middle of a wood still, or what?
Well, no, they clear all the wood and it's all pasture now, but lineland.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What in order to live in, it's producing food, you know.
Well, yeah, and it is a young couple that are, you know, trying to do something with fair.
I mean, I think
Living
what Trevor said, because it is all the years, but yeah,
Lots of things have grown over the
But I'm
years.
looking around, I'm guessing that the majority are for it.
Yeah.
I've note your...
I was still vote for it, but I was just, you know,
Yeah.
reminding what's gone on in the past.
Okay, so we agree on that one then. Accounts then, Joe. Back to you.
Okay, I'll skip to the bank. The bank balances as at the 31st of August were 63,681.78. Of that, 21,212 is in the general cash account. The closing cash balance after our cheques are taken into consideration, the outstanding ones and the ones just issued, £18,893.75. There have been quite a few expenses, and I've got lots of cheques for sign-off later. There's training, payroll, we had to order new defibrillator pads, small amount for footpath expenses. The room and equipment hire has just come in, and that was £270. Grass cutting and the data protection fee is coming out imminently. What we've had in this month is £258 so far for allotment fees and some way leaves for £156.98. So that is it.
Any questions for Joe?
Where does it say how much the fields have earned? Does it say anything on there where that is?
Well, this is just a snapshot of what's come in since the last meeting or gone out. So that's all that's telling you. I'm sorry. It's tenancies, pure tenancies, yeah. We're also still due some money from the mast. There is an increase to the mast and we've still not had a pro rata payment, so I've been chasing that as well. But it may be that because the payment is not that far off now, they may just tag it on to the payment then, and we'll just get it in one lump sum.
So late paying and until I'm faced with interest.
Receipts done? Okay, what about this, just approval to set up the direct debit for the renewal of the Devon Communities Together subscription?
Yeah, it's just trying to simplify things. So that as many things as we can we put onto direct debit and not waste time doing checks every 5 minutes. So yeah. I've got the form to sign, so if everybody's happy with that, we'll just do it tonight. Yeah. Okay.
Devon Communities, I've lost me. Renewal Devon Communities. Is that off from our bank account then?
It's a subscription. It's a subscription that we pay for.
How much is the subscription?
£50.
And what's it going to, sorry?
Devon Communities, they provide various services. It's things like support with grants and various other services relating to. It's really a signpost type organisation.
George, you might know a Veterans Community Council of Devon.
Sorry?
You might know a Veterans Community Council of Devon. That's how they used to be known.
We've used them.
Yeah, we have.
Always paid this every year.
It's fine.
It's just about setting up a direct debit.
I've never heard of them.
Right, that's it, thank you. No one else got anything to say? If not, I'll close the meeting. 9:15. Not too bad. Thank you, everyone.
Have we got
I hope, and